Russ, I think that was probably about as good a performance as you could ask from your side on Tuesday night. It was patient, it was all-encompassing, it was pretty much everything you could have asked from them.
Yeah, it was really dominant. As I said after the game, I really enjoyed it. I think they did. I think it's just frustrating, isn't it, that we it's coming the end of the season. I think there's a lot of people ready for a break, but at the same time feel like we're really the team's grown a lot in the last few weeks even, and I think they showed the other day how together they are. I think it's a brilliant group of people, of players. They get on brilliantly, like really, really well, and I've not seen that very often. I think throughout even my own career, really. And when I think about when I've been successful as a player, it's often when the group is very, very close. They share a lot of the same values, and we've got that now. We've got a lot of young, hungry players that are really desperate to improve and really progress their careers, and we've got the older guys who are really, really involved in what we're doing, really believe in it, and are willing to help those younger guys. So it's a really nice balance, a really nice mix. I think you saw after the game yourself, being obviously so close to where the players were based, the togetherness, the spirit they have with each other, and they really enjoyed the other night. So yeah, I was really pleased. It had a bit of everything really. It was, as you said, it was patient. There was a lot of purpose, a lot of running, a lot of power, a lot of athleticism on show, which was great to see, and a lot of fight. So yeah, I was really pleased, and hopefully we can just maintain that for the next 3 games and build ready to come back with a bit of momentum and a bit of real belief amongst the guys moving forward.
It doesn't feel like long ago that we were asking, what's it going to take for your side to keep the clean sheet? Now all of a sudden 4 in 6 games have come along. It is a huge leap, and as you sort of alluded to in that last question, everything seems to have clicked fairly quickly in the last few weeks.
Yeah, I think it goes down to the players and the amount of time that they invest in themselves and us and what we're trying to do, and how much they learn. Again, after Tuesday there'll be unit meetings, the team meeting this morning. So they've had a couple of days off from that stuff to relax and recover, and then obviously the work begins again for tomorrow after their recovery. So I just think they've got a really clear understanding now. I think they've got real clarity of what we want, how we want them to do certain things, how they can get there, because it's different for everyone. So how they have to do it in their own way, which is why Dean Lewington is so special, really, I guess, and so important to us still, because he takes information on. He's done things in a certain way for 800 games, and then he puts his own spin on it. So he knows exactly what we want, and he puts the Dean Lewington spin on it and does it in a way that he finds comfortable. And the other guys, it's getting used to finding their own way whilst doing what we want them to do and what we're asking them to do, and not being robotic with it, and not taking everything really literally. And they're really growing with that. And I think that was probably the most pleasing thing over the last few games. They are finding their own solutions on the pitch and not turning to us guys on the side and asking us, which is brilliant, which is what we want. But as I said, that's part of the process. It takes a while to get that. But yeah, I'm really enjoying working with them. And the clean sheets are a result of that, how hard the guys are willing to run for each other. I think the last few games, the running stats are as high as they have been all season, in terms of high speed running and sprint distance, and that's where we need to live as a team. That's the zone we need to live in if we're going to be the team we all want to be eventually.
Fisher making that penalty save at the very death. I mean, he's come on leaps and bounds, hasn't he, this season? Yeah,
he's been outstanding. I think a lot of credit to Fisher's mentality. He's brilliant. Obviously, he came in last year and didn't play. I told you at the time he made a big leap to come here, a leap of faith. He took a pay cut, quite a dramatic one. I'm sure he won't mind me saying. He dropped down a division, left the club he'd been at for a very long time, moved away from home during a pandemic. All of that is really difficult, and the way he's just come in and adapted and played and established himself, been incredible. But I think he'll be the first person to praise Dino and Lee and Laurie. I think Lee Nichols' role in Fisher's development probably can't be understated, how much he supported him. It would have been really easy for Lee, who has obviously lost his position in the team to Fisher. It would have been really easy for him to not be very helpful, to sit there and maybe feel sorry for himself, and he hasn't done that. He's been incredible. He's been like another coach really, and Dino will say that as well. Dean's brilliant. I think the improvement of Fisher's obviously, and the faith in Fish has come from Dean initially. He pushed so hard to get him to the football club, and it was his relationship with Fish that made it happen. So that's big credit to him. But Lee, in the way that he supported him, especially over the last couple of months, you can hear him. When no fans, I'm sure you've heard him at times with some information he gives Fish, the praise he gives him. And then him and Dean both shouting to him before the penalty, then after, the way they celebrated it. It's brilliant to see. I love that. The togetherness and the connection they have. So they've all played their part. And Laurie obviously is doing really well now as well. Lee's been a big part of that. I love seeing that. And whatever happens with Lee moving forward, because he's out of contract, and we have to have a chat about that. But his role in what we've done over this period of time will always be. We'll always be extremely grateful for that.
Something Scott Fraser said last week in the interview with your guys there was that he'd struggled recently with stuff on and off the pitch. And during this time, I think everybody's had struggles and gone through tough times. But how important is it for you that the players have the confidence in you, that they can come to you and talk to you about these problems, that you're almost the guidance counsellor as well as their football manager?
Yeah, I think it's part of leadership. I think every player's different, but I'd like to think they can all come and knock the door, and they know that, and that we'll always be there to listen to them, and if they look for some advice, then give them some advice. It means a lot. I think it's how we try and it's the culture we want, where we can all speak to each other and we can all feel comfortable with each other. Scotty is an example of you have to appreciate the whole situation for the player, especially during the pandemic. He hasn't been home for a very, very long time because he hasn't been allowed to. He's come down here with his girlfriend, who again hasn't been able to meet up with other people, and she doesn't know anyone down here. And obviously, with what's going on, you can't go and mix with other people. You haven't been allowed to. So all of that becomes really difficult for these guys, and you have to make sure people are aware. We've been aware of it all the way through. And also, with Scotty, his performance levels have been so high. He sets such high standards for himself. Sometimes remind him, actually, when he feels he hasn't done very well, he actually has for the team. I think he's grown a lot as a character, as a person. He got real self-belief. And that's why I said, when he came off a few weeks ago, it's never ever personal here. It's always professional, those decisions. And he's responded brilliantly from that. And we love Scott. We love working with this group, these players. They're our players now. This is our group now. And hopefully they all feel the same way, that they can come and speak to us about anything, not just about performance, but as people. Because first they are human beings, and they need to be in the best possible place to get anywhere near a level of performance. I think if people have other issues, or they're not quite right with their personal life and how they feel about themselves, then there's no way they can go. I think there's a few people who can do that and are able to separate it, but not many. I don't think it's very healthy if you try and separate it either. So the players' mental health and the happiness when how they feel when they come in here is the first thing and the most important thing before we can even start talking about how they're going to perform on the pitch. So I'm pleased he feels that we've been there for him during this period, and hopefully that will remain the same all the way through, regardless of how you're playing on the pitch. How we feel about the players doesn't change. If they play well, we love them. If they don't, we don't. We don't like them anymore. It's not how it is here. So we're quite consistent with that. And their performance, you have to accept, will go up and down. But how we feel about them won't change.
On to Swindon then. They picked up a huge win on Tuesday night. But another relegation scrapper, and it's do or die for them coming to Stadium MK.
Yeah, I mean their win will obviously give them a lot of belief. I think it's going to be another really tough game that we're going to have to fight hard to make sure we can try and turn it into a game we want it to be. We had a really positive result there, obviously, earlier on in the season. But we had to fight really hard for that. It was a bit too open. I didn't enjoy that game very much. I think I said that after the game. We won 4-1, but I didn't feel very great. I didn't feel great about the performance. So yeah, we have to be really careful. We have to make sure we approach it with the same intensity as the last 2 games, the same mentality, the same attitude. If we do that, obviously we back ourselves to put in a performance, especially at Stadium MK. So yeah, I think our guys are hungry and they know it's going to be tough because they are fighting for their lives and they are off the back of a good result, and they've scored in each of their last 6 away games as well. So watching them, they are playing with lots of energy. They got a real threat, and it's up to us to negate that threat and impose our own game. But it will be tough. There's no doubt about it.
How's everything on the injury front?
Yeah, I think it's good. Obviously, Danny Harvey was a blow, losing him in training, and it was an issue he was fighting with. And funny enough, he felt the best he'd felt on the day he got injured. So hopefully, as I said, we might get him back before the end. Hopefully we can. Cammy's coming along nicely. Expect him to be fit next week at some point. Louis Thompson's back on the grass, so he should be involved next week as well. And the rest is, Kieran's obviously not available. At the moment, he's still injured, and Ben Gladwin as well, obviously, who we spoke about. So apart from that, it's the other guys are slowly but surely on the mend and hopefully back before the end of the season.
And just finally, a name that we've seen on the substitutes bench after a long time, Jay Bird, back in fitness and back in contention. That's huge for a youngster who looked like he had a quite promising start to the season. Yeah,
he's been training hard, Jay. I think he's a bit rusty. He's missed a lot of football, and he needs to get back into a really good condition. But it's good for him to get back training every day and back into the routine of being a professional footballer again, because he spent such a long time injured. He's had more time injured in the last 2 years than he has actually fit and playing and training. So it's getting him back into the swing of that and being patient with him. But he's got attributes. He's got a lot of good attributes. He showed that early on, in particular in the Stevenage game, with 2 really good goals. Coventry in pre-season, a really good finish. It's just making him understand what it's going to take again, physically getting used to it. He had 60 minutes in a friendly on Wednesday with an under 18s, 19s team, really, with a couple of the older guys in. So it was good for him, and it's up to him now to try and force his way to stay on the bench initially, and then force his way into the team and come back to pre-season really ready to compete and fight and come back fully fit. It's good for Jay, and he's put a lot of hard work in, and it's testament to the medical staff. I speak about them a lot, but the sports science and medical staff we have here are fantastic, and it's credit to them for the hard work that they've put in with Jay as well. And it would be nice to see him get some minutes, but that's up to him now about how well he trains and how much he really wants to get onto that pitch. So, but it is good. It's really good for him, and look forward to seeing what he's capable of, especially during pre-season.
Psychologically, for players like Jay and for David Kasuma as well, coming back before the end of the season is massive, isn't it? Rather than having that extra 3 or 4 months wait. Yeah,
definitely. Just mentally, psychologically more than anything. Physically, obviously, it really helps that Dave, has got a nice run of games now, and hopefully he can continue that to the end of the season. I think he's getting better and better every game. It's been great to have him back. I think he showed how much we missed him, and it's helping him definitely playing alongside the experienced guys, Josh and Sirs. So. I think you're right. I think psychologically more than anything to be fit come the end of the season, and then you can stay in really good condition. And with Dave and Jay, they've had a bit of a break, so they don't need to have too much of a rest at the end of the season, maybe a week or 2 to just relax and recharge, and then they can really focus on being in top shape when they come back, and then hit the ground running, really. So it's up to them. As I said, that they both put in a lot of work with the sports science and medical team, so they now need to carry that on. They'll have off-season programmes that the guys give them, and now it's up to them to make sure they come back, really hungry, really fit, and show what they have done this season.